it's hard. It's hard living. You don't get paid great. The hours suck. The grind sucks. You're in a hot, sweaty kitchen all day. People stink. The floors conditions are horrible. I mean, it's rough. Everyone's angry. Everyone's on something. They're drinking, they're smoking, they're doing some type of drug to stay functionable.
Yeah.
It's rough, and I'm just here, this guy, not tattooed and white guy coming in, comes from a family with their mom and dad still, and it's just like, I did not belong there. I was so out of place, and they welcomed me and they pushed me, and I could have quit so many times. I wanted to almost every day.
What's up, you beautiful beasts? I'm Katie. I'm on a mission to help humans become the best possible versions of themselves and to strive for overall health, mental health, emotional health, physical health, all of the healths, without ever having to step on a scale. I have had the privilege to talk to all kinds of different humans who've been through a plethora of experiences just being a human and existing. I believe that every single time somebody shares their story, at least one person listening will learn from it, be inspired by it, and maybe, just maybe, even change the entire direction of their life. These are the stories of humans unveiling their beautiful beast. Keep listening. This is the Unveiling the Beast podcast. What up, beasts? Welcome back to the show. Today, I'm hanging out with the creator of Chef Boyardee meals, Glen Wiley. In this episode, Glen shares with me how his dream to be a chef was born and the stories of fighting and never giving up on himself to make that dream a reality. As always, I hope something lands with you today. I hope something you hear tugs on your heartstrings, and or I hope you laugh. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm with Glen Wiley.
Not to be confused with the oversized dolphin, aka whale.
Yes, exactly. Who is now free.
Yes,
Correct?
Apparently.
Yes.
I had t-shirts made back in the day, Free Willy.
Did you really?
Yeah, no.
Oh.
Those t-shirts you see, free Lil Wayne, free some rapper, free this. Free donuts. I don't know.
I feel out of the loop because I don't know what you're talking about.
I hope someone on here in this podcast that's listening gets that reference.
They probably do.
If not, then it's okay. I'm always alone on my jokes.
It's okay.
I'm really good with dad
I get
jokes.
it. Yeah. So, Glen and his amazing family used to live next door to me and my amazing family.
Why'd you laugh?
Because I'm not used to saying nice things about myself.
Oh, okay. You need to start doing that more.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm working on it. So they used to live next door to us, and they were the coolest neighbors we've ever had. And then they were like, "Fuck you guys, we're leaving."
You guys
and we're
play loud
moving
music.
Really far away.
You're annoying. Your house is always loud. Too
Yeah,
many cats.
darn kid and cats.
No, none of that.
However, we kept in touch on Instagram.
Instabook.
And Glen is now my personal chef.
Yeah.
It sounds fancy, but he is the owner of his own company called Chef Boyardee.
Meals, I guess you can say.
Chef Boyardee Meals, okay.
Yeah.
And
still being worked on, but
yeah. So I started ordering from him, and they are fucking delicious meals. And basically for me, I'm buying the time that it would take me to make the meals. So I appreciate everything you've ever cooked for me.
Awesome.
Even though I give you money for it, but
I mean, it's also about introducing foods you probably never would cook yourself too,
Yeah.
I mean, there's a very broad range of meals I prepare. Mm-hmm. It's not just your simple boiled chicken, steamed broccoli, and white rice,
Yeah.
There's a lot more that goes into it, a lot more thought and preparation that goes into those meals.
Yeah, I think this is the first week that you're doing a repeat.
Yeah.
With the carne asada bowl,
Yeah.
which was my favorite the first week
Yes.
I ordered from you.
A lot of people love that bowl.
So
I know.
good. I wrap
I've
it in
gotten
a
a lot
tortilla.
of requests. Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I usually did it with like a dressing of some sort. Mm-hmm. But the way I marinate the steak, you don't really need anything with it. And it has the lettuce and the rice. When you mix it all together, just put a lid on it, shake it up, put some lime on it.
Ooh, I should try that.
It's really good. That's the way it's supposed to be had. On any of the bowls, that's how you do it. Just put a lid on it, shake it up, add whatever dressing you want to it, and it's fire.
I love me a good bowl.
Yeah.
I don't order the ones with quinoa, though.
Why's that?
I love quinoa, but like...
Don't tell me you're allergic to it.
No, I'm not allergic to it, but... I've been spending a lot of time, like, just paying attention to how foods make me feel. So, like, intuitive eating, like, okay, this makes you feel like shit. Don't eat that.
Really?
Quinoa gives me a really bad stomach ache. Not, like, nauseated, but, like, that feeling when there's a rock in your stomach? And it sucks because I love it, and I love calling it quino.
Quinoa.
Quinoa. So, yeah, in case you were ever like, why doesn't she ever order anything with quinoa?
Okay. Well, I'm okay with substituting things too. So if you wanted a rice in that bowl that had quinoa or quinoa.
I don't want to be that guy though. The guy that's like, none of this on the side, extra this.
Yeah.
And,
But that's the thing about ordering from me is I'm not one of those big companies where you order what it says and you can't substitute or it's going to cost you like $14 just to add a piece of rice to it, or whatever.
Yeah, $14 for
a grain
piece
of
rice.
A grain,
Yeah.
So with me, it's me. You're dealing with me, and you can personalize the meals a little bit. Don't get too carried away and start adding stuff off the menu. Like, can you add sardines to my?
Can I get a side of shrimp with that, please?
Yeah, a side. Yeah, and some macaroni and cheese on top of that. Like
and some,
what?
I'm
sushi.
Sorry.
Yeah. Why not? Let's go for it. Yeah. So that's the thing. So my clients usually, they know that. The ones that have been ordering for a while. I got some pretty gnarly requests sometimes, and if I can do it, I'll try to honor it, But I can say no too. So what's the worst of asking if I could substitute something? I'll say, no, Katie, no, that's too crazy.
Yeah.
No, I'm not gonna give you 3 grains of rice, just one.
If you don't ask, the answer is always no.
Exactly.
What's the strangest request you've ever gotten?
A
side of cat tongue.
No, that's not too strange. I've had that before. It's not crazy. I'm kidding. Your face is priceless. I'm sorry. It wasn't cat tongue. It was cat tail. Sorry.
Cat tail.
You've had oxtail? It's just like
no.
It's just like it. Cat tail is just like oxtail. You gotta do it.
Side story. I convinced my friend in high school that anchovies were cat tongues.
Wow. How did you? Wow. Who's that friend?
I'll
That's pretty
never
gullible.
tell.
Yeah.
I'll never tell. Okay, so the strangest thing anybody's requested.
With my meal prep business, I would say the strangest thing would probably be just multiple substitutions in one dish to where it pretty much changes what the dish is in its entirety. Where they're like, I don't want this, I'll substitute a different grain, which is fine. And then instead of this protein, I'll take this protein. Then I'm like, okay, I don't want any onions, but I can have garlic. I'm like, well, there's onion in the sauce. Well, that's fine. I'm like, wait, so is it an allergy or is it a preference? So it's those things where I don't understand.
Yeah.
I just got to do it. But, in restaurants, though, oh, man, I can't even recall, but there's been crazier things that I've seen and heard. But I don't mind any crazy substitutions or requests. Mm-hmm. I'm sure I'll get crazier ones, especially after doing this. People hear me. Oh, let's test him. He said you can do substitutions.
If you deal with me long enough, you might get something.
No, but I get a lot of picky eaters, and I'm okay with that because I like to educate. Nothing
Ladies
wrong with
and
that.
gentlemen, I'm pointing toward my husband.
I was like, oh, me? No. You're pointing in my direction. I'm like, oh, wait. But it's okay. I like to educate and teach people because, I grew up off of Cheez-Its and SpaghettiOs and rice and ham every day and TV dinners. That's what I ate in my adolescent years up until probably out of high school.
Wow.
And I had poor nutrition. My parents rarely ever cooked. I didn't know how to cook. I taught myself how to make a grilled cheese sandwich
Nice.
because I was tired of eating that wasn't anything great either, you know?
Did you put ham in the grilled cheese sandwich?
No, I never did. Until later on, eventually, I figured it out that, wow, how mind-blowing that was. But it was all about bologna sandwiches and simple. Just put together and go.
Yeah.
So I get it. I was a picky eater too. It was only until I went to culinary school that opened up my palate and my mind to like what's out there. So, and being a chef, you have to try everything,
Yeah.
whether you like it or not. Whether you know it's disgusting or you've heard it's disgusting or it smells bad, try it.
Yeah.
I've gotten sick a few times from knowing something's bad, but I have to try it to know what that bad tastes like when something's spoiled or rotten. Not fun. One of my professors called it fun times. Fun times is when you are glued to the toilet
Yeah.
and you don't know what's coming out. Yeah, sorry for the visual, guys.
It's okay.
Yeah,
So
fun times. So anytime we say fun times,
fun times. That's different than off the record.
yeah.
So growing up eating those things, is that what kind of inspired you to get into cooking?
Yes, my frustration for not eating right and always having stuff out of a box or a can. I was always into athletics and playing sports growing up, even in high school. So I learned how to eat better when I started playing football because our coach had to put us on a plan, and I didn't know how to cook any of that stuff. My parents didn't know how to cook steak or vegetables. You know, it was all of a steam bag of vegetables or something. My grandmother was the cook in the family. She was a stay-at-home mom. You know, she was the baby of what, 13?
Wow.
Yeah, and so she always had to cook for her family growing up. So she's just always cooked. I remember going to her house as a kid. Her pantry was like probably the size of half of this garage.
Like,
And you walk
this
in
part of it.
like this, from this mirror and on that way.
Nice.
You walk in, there is just shelves and shelves, floor to ceiling, full of stuff. And she had two refrigerators, and it was amazing. She was always cooking. I was always interested in that, you know. And I remember when I got out of high school, I was really curious about learning how to cook, and I spent more time with her, and she taught me a lot. And then that's where I had the passion to want to go to culinary school. And then that's when I started eating better, eating healthier. So I would credit her a lot as to why I got into this and why I changed my perspective on food. I got healthier. I was always in the best shape of my life up until I was like probably 30 or something.
30 early 30s.
Yeah, right.
A few years ago.
Yeah, And then like they say, never trust a skinny chef.
Yeah.
But so that's why I gained the weight, because I wanted people to trust me. I didn't want to be that skinny chef anymore.
That's the only reason.
That's the reason why I gained
There
all
you
this
go.
weight. Yeah.
There's a purpose behind
Yeah,
everything,
I'm like
ladies
500
and gentlemen.
pounds for those who can't see me.
No, you're not.
No, I'm
Shut up.
kidding. I look like Boba Fett. Yeah. No, I'm kidding.
Well, that was pretty good.
Well, that was actually pretty good.
So after culinary school, you started in restaurants. What was the first restaurant you worked in as a cook?
Well, actually, while I was in culinary school, I was working at this wonderful store called Cost Plus World Market. If anyone remembers or have heard of it.
I'm too young.
No, no. Dang, you didn't make me feel really old now.
Just
Dang.
kidding.
Hey.
I'm kidding.
You guys remember Bugle Boy? No, I'm kidding. So I was there. I was working in the warehouse for a minute because I was trying to pay my way through school. And in culinary school, everyone that went there, majority of the students were fresh out of high school. 18, 19-year-olds. I was about 23 at the time. I did all these weird odd jobs before that. Security, commercial real estate, retail, all kinds of weird stuff. And I was just not satisfied, so I went to culinary school. And I took it really seriously. Everyone had their scholarships and their moms and dads pay for their school. And I was working still full time. And then right after work, going straight to culinary school, not sleeping. And I did that 6 days a week for about 2 years. And then while I was in school, towards the end of it, the they have these internship programs, and you can earn credits and just work experience. Mm-hmm. I got the job of a lifetime, which my life, I'm a big sports nut. I got a job at Dodger Stadium. And I was like, cool, Dodgers. I love the Dodgers.
That's hockey, right?
No, it's soccer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, they're pretty big in Europe.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, that was good. That was good. So I still had about probably 5 or 6 months left of culinary school. And I was just barely learning how to hold a knife and how to do the proper cuts and all that. And I worked in one of their dugout clubs. It's like their executive premium suite stuff, like where all the premium members, VIP members get their tickets at. Mm-hmm. And it's like buffet style, gourmet, like high-end stuff. And I was so out of place there. I felt so lost. But like fast forward years later, once I got involved in the restaurant scene and I became like a pretty legit chef, and that was looked at as like a low-end type of job. Like, that's like working at Chili's or something. And I was like, what? I looked at it at that time. I was like so prestigious and, oh my God, it's the job of a lifetime. And
Dodger Stadium is like working at Chili's?
Well, it's the group that they have. It's like a corporate group, Levy Restaurants, which is really good now. Uh-huh. But back then it was just kind of like your normal hotel, like catered food.
I got you. Okay.
It wasn't anything great. It wasn't like going to a fine, Michelin star restaurant. It was just, going to a hotel and yeah, exactly. So, but I loved it. I got to be there, and one of my cool stories being there was one of the pitchers at the time, Brad Penny. I don't know if he's ever listening. If you hear this, Brad Penny, what's up, buddy?
Yeah, he's one of my 28
he's listening.
listeners.
Is he?
Sure.
Okay, cool. I'm sure, yeah. Probably when you're like your third or fourth one subscribing, huh? Yeah. It'll get out to him watch one day, I know. But I remember one time he was pitching. He had one of the cooks always make him a salad or a dish before he pitched on the days he pitched. And one day that guy wasn't there, and I was in the salad department, and they asked me to make a salad. They didn't tell me who it was for. They just said, hey, one person want VIP, make it good. Put on the gloves, and I was all nervous, and I'm like, okay. So I just put like oranges, some candied walnuts, and some, I don't know, mixed greens, and some pickled onions, and I forgot what else I put in it. I made it really good. And I just sent it out. And then I guess Brad Penny went out and had like almost a no-hitter, like his best game ever. And then he came back and said, whoever made my salad that day, I want that exact same salad every time I pitch. So for that summer, he pitched, I think, 4 more times. Mm-hmm. I got to make his salad 4 times. And he did okay every time. I think one time he bombed it, but I was like, it's not my salad, dude. It's not. But people are superstitious sometimes. And I realized that at that moment, food has an impact on people.
Yeah.
And I really took it more serious that time. Then I was like, I need to do something bigger than this, like something better. Like I know I'm good. I'm wasting my time here, And it was a seasonal job anyway, so
yeah.
Back to culinary school. I was like, okay, how do I stand out from all these people? I'm at the top of my class. I'm working hard. I'm staying later. I'm coming in earlier than everybody else. My instructors, professors love me. I did some research at the time. I looked up, I Googled. And I looked at all these magazines. I think Los Angeles Magazine at the time that I was out, I looked at it and said, what's the best restaurant in LA right now? And it said Luke and AOC. And it's ran by the same chef, which is a female chef named Suzanne Goen. Shout out. What's up, homie? She's really, really, she's known as like one of the, I want to say godfathers, but one of the what do you call them? Pioneers of like California farm to table cuisine.
Like guru?
Yes. Yeah. Alice Waters is pretty much, I'm just name dropping some chefs right now. Okay. Alice Waters is one of the ones that started it all up north. And that's kind of who Suzanne molded herself after. And I went into that restaurant that next day. Well, no, first I did a report on her at school on like one of her books that she just released, like a cookbook. And then she did a video of like 100 best chefs. And I watched that. I did a report on it. My instructors loved it. And I was like, I'm really fascinated by the way she cooks and how her food is. So I looked up her restaurant. I was all nervous. And I was like, I'm just going to go there and ask if I can just work for free and just intern there.
That's cool.
And I was like, cool. I went there. And she said she already had like 3 or 4 interns. She's fully booked. She has no more space in the kitchen. It's a tiny kitchen. And I was like, I don't care. I'll wash lettuce all day for you. I don't care. I'll do whatever. I'll peel carrots all day. Whatever it is, I'll do it. and I'll wash dishes. I don't care. I just want to get in here and just learn the environment and just be in this kitchen. And she said, okay, how about tonight? I was like, oh, sure. So tonight, that night I came back and I just washed lettuce all night, and I washed vegetables, and I helped like probably peel cheese or peel carrots, whatever it was. Small little tasks that cooks don't want to do. I did it. But I learned about the fast pace and the high intensity, and I heard the language and all that, the verbiage used, and it was just like, whoa, I was fascinated. I was like,
86.
yeah, 86 this, and behind you, and atrás. And I was like, what? Spanish too? What's going on? I was like, what? I got to pick up my Spanish game. Okay. Like, I learned a lot of Spanish because kitchens.
Yeah.
But I loved it. And after the shift that night, we were all beat. She was exhausted, but she was in there doing her ordering and her menu for the next day. And my little weird ass decides to go in there and goes, hey, chef, how do you think I did? Like so stupid and so like green and like, unaware of like how the environment is.
Yeah.
And she's tough, but she was like really soft spoken at that moment and really like honest. Honestly, I didn't even see you once the whole night. I was so busy. I don't even know what the fuck you did. But you weren't in my way, and that's a good thing. And I was like, chef, I have a menu of tonight's menu. I have a copy of it. Can you please sign it for me? And she was like, wait, what? I was like, can you sign my menu? Like I'm a fanboy. Like I seen a celebrity, and like she's like, I've never had anyone ask me to sign their menu. And I was like, I know it's super weird. I know. I did a report on you. I'm a big fan. I liked what I saw tonight. And she's like, sure. And she's all embarrassed and like signing it, like we're all turning red and all blushing. And I was like, thank you very much. And then she goes, hey, I don't have any room for you. I'm sorry. I have a lot of interns that are going to be here for like next 6 months. Mm-hmm. But my husband is opening a restaurant, and he's a chef out in Hollywood. It's a seafood restaurant, just opened. He needs help. And I was like, I'll do it. I don't know anything about seafood. I don't know. Never touched or stepped foot. Didn't really care to eat seafood growing up. I barely got into sushi probably a year before that, or learned how to eat raw fish or what that was. I said yes. And he gave me his number, called him. About a week later, I came in for an interview. I was so green. I would look back at it. I brought my whole like portfolio that I did in the culinary school. All pictures of my food that I did, those little cheap, weird looking plates we do in school. And I look back and I'm like, oh my God, that is so like, it's just, I don't know. Like if I would have seen, if I was a chef and I had someone do that, I would just laugh at their face. Like, get out of here. You're wasting my time. Like, that's just embarrassing. Get out of here. Don't bring that to me.
Yeah, but you never would have learned that.
Right.
That's not how you do it.
Right.
You didn't do it.
like asking for an autograph on a menu. Like, you know, like.
You probably went home and framed that shit, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's still somewhere in the garage framed. I still got that. Yeah.
Nice.
And like, I remember I saved one of the tickets of one of the orders that came in that I helped like plate one time. And that was pretty cool. But I met some really cool people that day, and those people I'm still in contact with. But that chef, I went there and showed him my portfolio. He had his sous chef with him. They both were like, "Hey, look at this. This one's good. Look at that!" Like joking around, like teasing me, making fun of me.
Did you know they were teasing
you? At first,
you?
I didn't know. At first, I was like, "Ooh, they like it." You know, I was like super eager and just dumb and just yeah. And after a while, like he was just like, "Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I think we want to hire you. Thank you for, we're so lucky to have you." And I was like, okay, now he's being sarcastic. And I was like, damn. And then he's like, can you come tomorrow? I was like, oh.
Like, really?
You're fucking with me, huh? It's okay. You don't have to be nice to me. He's like, no, seriously, we need help. He's like, I don't care if you have any experience or not, but I need someone that can open oysters. I can learn. And he's like, that's all I need. And he's like, come tomorrow. I have one of my guys show you how to open oysters. And you better bring some gloves and bring some towels and be ready to work. I was like, okay. Fuck. That next day I came in. Oh my God. I was so nervous and so but excited.
Yeah.
I had the dishwasher teaching me how to open oysters. Come to find out, this dishwasher has been known in all of LA to be like the best dishwasher. He is the best oyster shucker in LA. He is the best fish fabricator. Like he can break down a fish like no one's business.
Okay, I didn't know what fabricator meant, but now I know.
Like fillet a fish, clean the bones, and portion them. This guy did all their prep. One man show. He was peeling potatoes, cutting them with by hand sometimes, and then using a French fry cutter. He was peeling artichokes. Anything you need him to do, he was doing that while washing dishes, while cleaning the restaurant. This guy was insane. And he taught me how to open oysters. And I probably did about maybe 1,000 oysters that day. And I probably stabbed myself in my hand probably about 5 or 6 times. Yeah. And I learned a lot, though.
At the time he taught you, sorry to cut you off.
Yeah,
at the time he taught you, did you know all this about him?
No.
Or did you just think
I
he
thought
was
he
a
was
dishwasher?
just this arrogant dishwasher, like, mad he's teaching this, like, tall, big white guy, like, how to open oysters. Like, who's this white guy coming to open oysters? Like, what?
All right, here you go. Here's how you do it.
Yeah, here's how you do it. Yeah,
Make sure
here
you
go,
wash your
gringo.
dish.
Here you go. Yeah, oh my gosh. Like, you're not going to last past today, watch. And then that was kind of how it started. And the restaurant at the time that I did that, my first restaurant I worked at was the Hungry Cat. El Hambriento Gato. So that was in the heart of Hollywood. And I spent about probably 6 years there. The next 6 years. I started at the bottom, the very, very bottom. And then I worked into garde manger, which is making salads and all the cold stuff, the sashimis, the crudos. And then from there, I did about 1.5 years till I learned how everything worked. Made a lot of mistakes. Oh, by the way, chef's name is David Lentz. He's like my mentor. Everything I know is because of him. So he's a tough dude. He's tough. He had a reputation too for being like a hard ass. Like, wasn't liked by many people. But one thing I do respect about him though, he taught me hard work and dedication to your craft pays off. He never took shortcuts, ever. Everything he did was from scratch or from the beginning or from the start. It was always never opened a can of anything, never opened a bag of anything, unless it was a bag of fish that came in fresh, you know?
Right, yeah.
Other than that, it was fresh scratch cooking. And I've never experienced that, you know, because in culinary school, I'll go to the storeroom and grab a 10 can or like a big old can of beans or tomatoes and pop that and make it sauce. I'm like, okay, we're making sauce from scratch. We're washing tomatoes, peeling them. We're concassing them, which means you boil them until the skin comes off, and then you blend them. It's a whole process. So
That's
it's like,
cool. I never knew the name for that before.
Yeah,
I know the process, but I didn't.
It's a French technique. Yeah, it's
concassé.
Yeah, concassé.
Got it.
My accent is not good, so baguette. See, French fries, French bread. See, I know French.
So concassé,
yeah,
tomatoes,
concassé.
making everything from scratch.
Yeah, and then from there, about 1.5 years of working garde manger, maybe 2 years of that, I think, probably. I started working on the hotline, which is on the other side of the kitchen where all the badasses were and all the lifers were.
Lifers being people who've been there forever?
Yeah, or just who've been cooking their whole life. Compared to me, where I just started at 23.
With
These
your
guys have
portfolio.
been... Yeah. Yeah, my book. Here you go. Here's my dish of my coq au vin. He's like, who the fuck makes coq au vin anymore? Like, if you know what that is, it's like a braised chicken leg and red wine. You know, it's like a really classic French dish, which is really good. But there's lots of ways to make it right and lots of ways to screw it up. So it's like the big test of like, do you know how to cook? Can you make coq au vin or ossobuco? Like long process, like slow cooking, you know? So I thought, and then I'm like, that's French stuff and chicken. And I'm going to a seafood restaurant, show all my chicken dishes. And it's like, Glenn, no. Like, so like I look back at it, and then so eventually I became like, I was on the hotline for a little bit, and it's the way it works up. There's every restaurant's different, but there's an order of, there's like a hierarchy, you know? First you start having hot appetizers, hot apps, work in the fryer. You're making all the little, he had lobster rolls there and crab cakes, and those were like the appetizers, which were delicious. Yum. Yeah. And he's from Maryland. So one of the best crab cakes I've ever had. And people have ever, from everywhere, they say it's the best crab cake. Even, I'm just getting hungry for a crab cake right now.
I'm not drooling. You're drooling.
I know. Yeah. What? Oh, shit, I changed my shirt. No. Do you have a bib? No.
I do, actually.
I know. That's what I'm like. If you not ask that, because she probably does. And I'll probably have to wear it the whole podcast. Good that you guys can't see.
It's big, though.
Yeah. It just covered my beard. It's a beard bib.
A beard bib.
And so then after hot apps, about maybe 1 year of that, or maybe less than that, I went to Sauté, which is in that kitchen. It's like the heart of that kitchen. And we have one guy there, Sergio. Man, this guy, it's like he had like 8 arms. doing, it was like a 12 burner stove. He was just doing, it was crazy. Like, he had worked for Dave for so many years, and I learned so much from him. But Sergio only spoke like probably 3 words the whole night to you, unless it was like, fuck you, get the fuck out of my way, or you piece of shit, hurry the fuck up, you know.
Wow.
3 words besides those words, you know, like move, or bye, or hi. That's it. That's all he would say all night, and it's very intimidating, you know.
Yeah.
And I made a lot of mistakes, burned a lot of people and myself, but it's part of learning, part of growing is you make mistakes, you know. And unfortunately, but also fortunately, I did it with them, and yeah, they made fun of me. They had their fun with it, but I learned from it, and it stuck with me, and I didn't want to do it again because of that. And it made me better, you know.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's a kitchen's not for everybody. I think out of everyone I went to culinary school with, I think maybe like 2 people are still cooking, or 3 maybe I don't even know. But it's hard. It's hard living. You don't get paid great. The hours suck. The grind sucks. You're in a hot, sweaty kitchen all day. People stink. The floors conditions are horrible. I mean, it's rough. Everyone's angry. Everyone's on something. They're drinking. They're smoking. They're doing some type of drug to stay functionable.
Yeah.
It's rough, you know. And I'm just here, this guy, not tattooed and white guy coming in, you know, comes from a family with their mom and dad still, and it's just like, I did not belong there. I was so out of place, you know, and they welcomed me, and they pushed me, and I could have quit so many times. I wanted to almost every day. I wanted to just what am I doing? Why am I in here? You know, but those lessons, they build thick skin. They toughen you up, and they teach you a lot of life lessons. And I'm grateful for every lesson every day that I was in a kitchen, especially in that one. David had a good take on life and how he viewed things, and it was a perspective I'd never seen before or been around, because I've been around my family and friends who are very binary kind of, or just one train of thought, one type of way of living, just very simple, you know. And these guys were all like risk takers, and they would talk shit and not give a fuck about anything. And I'm like, I've never been around that, you know. So it really molded me into who I am today. And then from Sauté, about maybe 6 months of that, we had a bunch of sous chefs come in that David was trying out that weren't working out with him because they didn't get along with him. They didn't like his attitude. And they were like hot shots, you know?
Yeah.
He doesn't like that. He likes someone who's moldable and coachable and that can listen and do it his way, you know? So I told him, hey, can I try? I want to be a sous chef. I'll learn. I'll do your ordering. I've been here long enough, almost 3 years now. I know your system. I know how things work. You just got to teach me how to break down fish, how to read tickets, how to run a kitchen, how to do the flow and the pace of the food and all that. And then he taught me that. And then after a while, I became the sous chef. Did that for about a year. And then one of his chef de cuisine, his number 2, his right-hand man, Chris Longley, which I learned a lot from this guy too. He, great chef. He ended up opening up a restaurant with David, a second location in Malibu. So he needed someone to run Hollywood while they were doing that. And I said, can I do it? I'm down to do it. And Hollywood's his baby, you know?
Pick me.
Yeah. I'm like, well, kind of like the next man up, you know, in a sense, you know, too. But and Sergio could have done it with his eyes closed, but he doesn't want that responsibility and power. He loved what he was doing. He's been doing it for probably 20 years with David. Mm-hmm. Everywhere David went, he was doing it, you know? So, and then so they went to go open this restaurant. Oh no, actually it was because he already had a Santa Barbara location that was open, and that was doing really well. And he would go quite a few times to go to Santa Barbara, and he needed someone here too. So I did it, and for the next 2.5, 3 years almost, I was the chef cuisine of Hollywood, and I helped him work in the Santa Monica location once it opened up. We all kind of rotated and took turns, and then his wife Suzanne had a catering company along with her 3 other restaurants, and so I did that a lot. Learned how to do catering. A lot of my catering background comes from them. And they did the Oscars. They did these big...
Oh, nice. Big shindigs.
Will Ferrell, big high-end clients too. Private parties up in the Hollywood Hills. Mansions. There's some NDAs I signed that I can't even say that I've done. But serious stuff. And like these people, like I learned from this group. And one thing I loved about that family, like because they were like a tandem, very successful like chefs, and they're married and well respected, well known in that community. I got to tag along with all that acclaim and all that too. Like people knew me. Oh, that's Glen's their sous chef or chef cuisine now. Like I got a lot of respect because of that. And to be in that position, you must be doing something good, or a good cook or a good chef. And so we eventually, around that time, I was a sous chef, I think, and Chris Longley was in Hollywood. Dave was there, and Sergio, the whole dream team. We became the best restaurant in LA, and it was like a huge accolade, and it was crazy. We got busy, it was like nonstop, and that was interesting to be a part of. We had celebrities coming in every day, like sitting right in front of us, talking to them, and it was just like a whole like shock. It was like, wow, this is my life. Like celebrities are coming to our restaurant. We got paparazzi outside. We got to deal with them. I had to go out there and tell paparazzi sometimes, like, hey guys, like, no, that's weird. Like I never thought I had to do that, but that's kind of where it was going. And it was just like, it was a cool experience. And a lot of restaurants weren't having to deal with that at the time,
Yeah.
So it was like, it was crazy in a sense, but it was a good crazy. That family too. Like I became part of that family.
Yeah.
Like I would go to their house and I would pick up their kids from school or something, or go watch their dog or something, or come over for a family party or something. And
yeah,
it was awesome. It felt like more than just a job. It felt like I belonged, and it made me more devoted and committed to them too, and I'm really thankful, and grateful that I had the opportunity. All because I went in to a restaurant and asked to sign a menu, and I was just very eager and willing to work for free and just do whatever it takes to get in, So I shot my shot, and I got in eventually, but
I was going to touch on that too. Like, it's cool hearing different people's stories, because it seems like with every story, it's the only way to learn the thing is to go do the thing.
Yeah.
And part of the thing is always like the behind the scenes, like the mental aspect of it.
Oh,
and
yeah.
how often you want to quit and you just keep going.
Uh-huh. And like, look what happens. It's like every time I wanted to quit, something good came from it.
Mm-hmm.
Or I was rewarded with like, no, like reminded, like, you don't want to quit, dude. Like, wait to see what happens tomorrow, And it's like, oh, tomorrow sucks even more. But this happened, and I learned this, and this person called out, so I got to move up and try this position out now. That I'm like, if I would have quit today, that person probably quit the same day I would have quit, and I that could have been my opportunity tomorrow. But because I quit, I wouldn't know that. And there's been a lot of cooks that I've worked with that have done that. They just jump from restaurant to restaurant to restaurant, and they don't ever move up. They don't ever learn.
They quit too soon.
Yeah. And that's popular in that community, and and it's unfortunate, but you just got to stick it out, just like in life with anything, like without getting too far off topic, but like I'm in my second marriage and I was divorced. I actually called the divorce off, but for many years, I was with this woman for 14 years, even before culinary school, the whole thing. And I wanted a kid my whole life. Even as a kid, I wanted to be a dad. I had a little brother, 5 years younger. I treated him as like a son. I always looked after him, and I knew I always wanted a kid. My ex-wife and I, we couldn't have kids, so I was always kind of like, okay, that was a thing, but it wasn't. But only until the later years, we started growing apart because our paths have changed, and I was working 16-hour days, 6 days a week in a restaurant, so that wasn't working out for us either. And so eventually we did everything, the counseling, the retreats, the time alone, time apart, and it just wasn't for us. And she came from the background of my parents and my family don't ever divorce or split up. They're Latino, they're Mexican.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, no, we stay together. I don't care if my dad or my mom has been cheated on. I don't care. We don't leave. We stick it out. Even if we're not happy, we're not going to divorce them. I'm like, damn, that sucks. That's tough, Yeah. I'm like, I don't feel that way. If I'm not happy, I'm going to try to work it out and figure it out. And if we're not working out, if we're polar opposites, I don't have to stay married. People will disagree in religion and all that. Okay, I get it. Yeah, sorry. But I don't think that way. And if I'm not happy over a period of time and it's consistent and it's not changing, it's getting worse and it's just not good for either one. It's toxic.
Yeah.
I can't say I have to stay married because that's just what I have to do. So I called it off after a big like trip with my brother and a friend up in Seattle for Dodger game weekend thing. And I had like a revelation, I had a whole thing. And I was like, I'm doing it. I'm just going to tell her I'm done. Came back home, did it. I was scared. I was worried. I felt bad. A whole lot of feelings going on. But then I after all that kind of subsided, I felt like proud of myself. I felt good because I could have stayed married to this day with her probably if I didn't do that decision right then and there, you know? But because I did it, I eventually met my mother, my daughter's mom. Mm-hmm. I got a baby. I have a baby now. I have a daughter who's almost 4. Beautiful, everything I could ever imagine.
Freaking adorable.
Oh my gosh.
BTW.
She's like a mini me, and she's like, I thought I was a bad kid growing up. I thought I'd get my parents hell. This girl, she's like double time. She's, oh man, but she's amazing. I'll do everything and anything for her. But because of that, I got my child, and now I'm married. I remarried to, oh my God, this woman. She is
also amazing.
No disrespect to my ex, a little bit maybe. No, I'm kidding. Not horrible. I don't ever do that. But she's my wife now. Esther is about 100%, 100 times better than my ex. And I don't like to compare things, but just what she offers and who she is and what she knows and what she's about and her family. Oh my God, it's just oh my gosh. And the thing that I love most about her and the whole dynamic of so I went through like a whole like 3-year like period after my divorce of like finding myself and also like living life. Cause I got with my ex when I was like probably 22, 23, right before culinary school. I didn't know what I wanted to do, who I was, what I wanted to be. She was at school, college, in a sorority. And I was like all about that life, partying. It was cool. And then we grew apart, and it was just weird. So like, I didn't know after like all those years, like who I was. And, you know, I was single. I did the whole like dating around and getting around town and being out there and like dating. And it was cool. And like talking to people, talking to girls. It was just like, wow, this is cool. Okay, this is how it is. Like the scene. But it sucked. And I didn't like that. I didn't want that. And it wasn't for me. But like having the kid with the friend that I had from high school that I didn't really know too well over the years, but just she's from high school, so it wasn't like a random hookup, you know?
Yeah.
It was someone that I knew, made it a little more acceptable for me. So like, it wasn't like, oh my God, what am I doing? Like, I just met someone and got her pregnant. Oh my gosh, I know it happens. Yeah. But it was kind of talked about and kind of already planned. I mean, she had mentioned it. Like she had talked about, do you want a kid? And I was like, yeah. She's like, I can do it. I'm still fertile. I'm like, okay, you already got 4? Okay, like you're a good mom.
I guess.
Yeah, I guess. That's why you're pulling my leg. Why not? Yeah, okay. Let's see what happens. And then it happened like right away. So
wow.
We dated for a short period of time, and we found out, and she found out it wasn't going to be what she wanted, but she still wanted the kid, and she wanted it with me, and thought I'd be a great father, and turned out it's been great so far. So I'm not going to talk much about that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But so that was like a weird thing, and then just I got pregnant with her while I was still legally married. And then we were dating for like 3 months. She dumped me and didn't work out. She was still pregnant though. I was like, oh, it's hormones. No, she was being really like serious. Like she doesn't want anything to do with me. Okay, but you still want the baby. This is weird. Okay, you got me. Whatever. You trapped me, whatever. You got the baby. Cool. Okay, cool. I still want it. Cool. Esther's been helping me out. I was involved in a car accident on my birthday right before that happened. And she was helping me out with that whole process, helped me out with the divorce, helping me out with baby mama stuff. And I'd known Esther for years before too. We had a lot of mutual friends. Mm-hmm. So she's always been around, you know, but so I've kind of seen her kids grow up and kind of seen her progression and where she's been and traveled and, you know, but like then we got serious. We started talking. I started driving out to Palmdale, started coming out here. Then it started becoming serious. And once again, I'm still legally married and this lady's still carrying my baby and I'm getting serious with this chick, you know, like, and we decided like, okay, we're about probably 6 to 8 months, we were like dating and really serious about each other, spending almost every day together. And we decided to just get married and just elope and do it. We're like, sorry, families, this is what we want. We went to get our names tattooed.
Aw.
We got matching tattoos. She's got my name. I got hers. I know that's like, I always said I would never get a name tattooed on me. First tattoo I get is a name, of course. But it's the best name I could get tatted on me. So it's okay. No regrets. No regrets.
No regrets.
No regrets.
No regrets. Wasn't that right before you guys moved next door?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Because I remember you being, I think you were newlyweds when you guys.
Yeah. Yeah, because we lived in Lancaster in a little 2-bedroom apartment for a little bit, and then the pandemic hit, like right before it hit, I think it was. Or it was like 2020 or 2019. It was December, I think. We moved in here. I forget the timeline, but much happened. Or was it during the summer we moved in? I think it was around my birthday we moved in here.
It was right before the pandemic.
Yeah.
And I know that because
it was December, yeah.
When Des and I brought you guys cookies.
Yes.
My little sister had just passed away from cancer that same week.
That's right. You had mentioned it, yeah.
Yeah. And so, I remember. But that's when I brought you cookies. That's not when you guys moved in.
No, we moved in a little before that, yeah. Trying to remember the timeline on that. Yeah, that was such a blur because so much was happening. It was all new and we were excited and all that. We still are. It's just a lot happened in that early stage because I was still dealing with baby mama and all that. It was a lot. So going back to why I brought this all up is that with Esther and my daughter, Sophia, my daughter has pretty much had Esther in her life since she was born. So that's something that I never thought would happen. Like, yeah, the whole, having a baby mama and then meeting someone else eventually and introducing that woman into Sophia's life was something I really feared and was really worried about. Mm-hmm. I knew it was going to happen eventually, but I didn't know it was going to happen like this, like so seamless and so like, she sees Esther as her mom. Yeah. She is her mom. The way that she loves her, they love each other. Oh my gosh. Like I'm getting choked up right now. I'm getting teary-eyed right now. Like, man, that's something that means so much to me. And like,
that's cool though. Yeah, she has 2 moms.
She does.
Yeah.
2 great moms.
Yeah.
Her biological mom, all her kids are like amazing students and kids. They're good kids. They're smart. They're very healthy and like, they're good kids. And like, I'm proud that Sophia has that as her siblings that she spends her day to day with. So I'm thankful that she has that. She has 2 great families, so, but that all happened because I decided to make a decision to take a risk and do something that I probably wasn't going to do if I ever got divorced. But yeah, I'm just so grateful that I was able to have made that decision to terminate that one life that I was living because I wasn't happy. I was losing myself. I wasn't doing the things I wanted to. I was just going through the motions and it was just repetitive and it was just, I'd come home from work just miserable and like, we'd fight for hours and go to bed angry.
Yeah.
And it was just like, I'm not happy. This is not what I want, dude. Like, I know I deserve more. I know I can offer more. I know this is not who I am. So, like I said, it's all about taking the risk and just listening to yourself and doing it and just doing it,
So when did you decide that you wanted to start your own business making delicious fucking food for people?
Thank you.
Not just delicious food.
Yeah.
Delicious fucking food.
Delicious fucking healthy food.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. So where do I start with it? Okay. Well, so here's the thing. I actually started this business right after my divorce. And I had talks about this with my ex because we lived in apartments. We were from apartment to apartment to apartment to apartment to apartment. And I think there was a period where in 6 years, we lived in 5 different places all over the valley. San Fernando Valley. 818.
I was in the 805 thing too.
Okay. 805, I have family in 805. It's okay.
Yeah, okay.
I can't hate. There's an 8 in there.
I'm still cool then. Okay.
Yeah, you're fine. As long as you're not in the, what is it, 909? Sorry, guys. No, I'm kidding. After my divorce, long story short, I started off with nothing. I gave my ex everything. because I felt bad about the situation, and she didn't want the divorce still. She was upset. She took it really hard enough to where she went into like, I hope it was for her better, because she went into writing and poetry, and now she has I don't know, I heard she has a couple books published and stuff. I'm like,
that's cool.
That's amazing. I'm so happy, because that's stuff that she talked about doing when we were together. Just like when we were together, I talked about my own business and being a chef and have my own restaurant, my own business. Mm-hmm. But together, we never could do it. We never could make that happen. We were scared of taking risks because we weren't ready with our careers and our family yet. We waited on a lot of things. We pushed things aside a lot of things, not just the kid, not just the businesses. It was tough. And so when that happened, I was like, ooh, I'm back at home. I'm sleeping on the floor of my old bedroom, which is now like a storage room in my parents' house. And there's barely like enough room, like a walkway to walk from the garage to the door of the room. And it was connected to the garage. So I had my own little exit. It was cool, which was fun having as a kid growing up. And my parents being deaf.
Yeah.
Oh,
nice.
Oh my gosh. I was a bad kid. They don't know about that, and they probably aren't listening because they can't hear, so it's okay. So I was sleeping on the floor. I remember I got an inflatable mattress, the little twin size bed. When that didn't even fit, so I had to like push boxes aside just so I could fit in that little walkway. The first night I slept on it, it popped. And I'm like, motherfucker. I was like, okay. This is the sign of things that come. This is gonna be a rough time living here. It's gonna be rough. And I had to live underneath my mom's old rules that she had still. Like the towel had to be put back on the rack this way and not this way. And it was like, you got to put this in this place when you're done with it. And you can't sit here because that's where the boxes go.
So like Monica from Friends? Worse?
Worse.
Oh, shit.
It was bad. But it was her system that worked for her. It's because she's done it for years, and that's how she was. And so I got it. You know, it just wasn't what I wanted and to do. And but I had to until I figured out what I was doing and made some money to move out or do something. So I mean, it was rough for a good like what, and this was like right when I met Sophia's mom. So we had talked about doing this, and she knew my situation. It was just weird because I was like, this is embarrassing to talk to people that this is where I live, Yeah. But like, I knew where I came from. I used all my life savings to pay off debt with my previous marriage so I can not worry about anything but that and be done with it.
Yeah.
So I had nothing to carry over from that relationship. No furniture, nothing, just scratch. I even gave her the cars. I was like, I'll take the bus and ride my bike. I just took my bike with me. I'll do that. I took the bike from the Valley to Hollywood and to Santa Monica every time I go to work. Or I took the bus, took the train. So I did that for a good like almost a year until Esther saved me and got me off the floor. And that's her thing, is like, she got me off the floor. That's what I'm always grateful, because she got me off the floor. And
such a beautiful, like, both metaphor and like reality.
Yeah.
She literally got you off
started
the floor.
from the bottom, and that too, yeah. But going back to the business thing, I was so eager and so determined to start my business. I was going to do it at my parents' house. And I started doing it. I had about probably 5 clients, like friends, that were like, okay, I'll try to support you. I'll try it out. I could use the help. Let me help you out. I was like, cool. My mom has this old stove from like the 1950s. It has like an oven above it and below it. And it has like 4 burners, gas burners that don't even work sometimes. Like only like one works really well. And they just kind of like trickle on and off. I'm like, okay. So I had got some Le Creuset stuff. Le Creuset is how you say it. And I had some cast irons, and I had some pans that I brought over that I got. And my mom had some stuff, and I was trying to make it work. And I was cooking like two nights a week, like Saturdays and Sunday nights, and all day Sundays, trying to make like meals for my friends, so I could have them and try my business. And I was doing breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It was a lot. It was crazy. Yeah, it was. I did a lot more than I'm doing now. Yeah, it's. I think on my Instagram there's still pictures of the stuff that I did from one of my first few posts are the menus. If you look at those menus, you'd be like, wow, like I can't even read it because it's so like I did it on paint. Like I was like, it was horrible. Yeah,
I'll have to go do some spying.
You got to, yeah. It's
Instagram
Chef Boyardee
spying.
Meals.
It's my favorite
on Instagram. And so like that's when you can see the date on there. It probably says like 2017, 16, 18. I don't know. I remember when it was, but That's when I started doing it, and it got a lot of good feedback. And I was like, there's something here, but I just can't do it right now. I don't have the means. I don't have the space, the equipment. It was frustrating, but I could have quit and said, this sucks. Fuck this shit. This is horrible. Like, this kitchen sucks. I'm so miserable. Fuck my life right now.
Yeah.
But I didn't. I didn't quit just like a hungry cat. I kept going. And I was determined. And the minute we moved into the house next door, I got ideas. And I was like, a bigger kitchen. Cool. This could happen. And I started playing with it a little bit more. Doing the meals for ourselves and for friends. And I was like, this could work. And then once we moved into our new house, well, pandemic had hit.
Which fucked everything up for
I'm going off
everybody.
topic, yeah. So I was at USC, the college, University of Southern California. I was there for about 4 years as a kitchen supervisor, which is like a sous chef. I worked in a couple of the residential halls, and I met some cool people there and learned a lot about how to do big type cooking, like full scale, large quantity catering banquet style cooking, like mass production. I had done a few of those odd jobs like at Universal for like staffing companies previously for extra work, but this was my first time doing it on a day-to-day basis, and it was away from like my order a la menu, like one dish at a time cooking from like restaurants. And the pandemic hit, and because I was one of the newer chefs, I was on the bottom of the totem pole. I got laid off. And I was like, damn, I thought I found the dream job I could retire from. I was like, I'm getting burnt out with these long days and the grind of the restaurant. I was like, yes, I can get old cooking here and be happy and put my daughter to school here and all this. I was thinking like 20 years ahead.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'll take this. I'll suck it up. I'll sell out. I'll give up my life to the whole culinary world just to work here and be at USC. I was committed. I was like, I'm ready. I'm doing it. And all I did was walk around with clipboard and taste food, and I didn't do any cooking. And I hated it, but I was also like, Glenn, this is not what you want to do, but this is what you need to do. This is not about you right now. It's about your daughter. It's about your future. It's about the benefits. It's about the money.
Yeah.
And I was like, ugh, I hate it, but the people suck. The way it was, and I come in as this like highly touted chef, well respected in the community, and these guys at USC are like, not to talk bad about anybody, but they've been there for years, so they know how that system works. So they're very confident in the way things are done there, because they know how to do it really well there. I get looked at as like, I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm like, guys, you have no idea what it's like to really cook. I'd run circles around you if I knew how to do your cooking here.
Yeah.
But I don't know how to throw a big old pan of rice into a steamer and let it cook. Or I don't know how to like open up bags of green beans and cook them. I do them fresh. I peel off the stems and I blanch them first. Then I saute. I do all that. Like, I don't just get canned green beans and throw them in the steamer and cook them. Like, I don't know how to do that.
That's
like,
what I would do.
Right. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it. But it's just my background, where I came from. I don't know how to do that, So I had a hard time with that. To take a step back, I took like 20 steps back to take 4 steps forward.
Yeah.
And I still felt like I was behind where I needed to be, And to even get into USC, I had to go in as a cook. I had to go in as a union labored cook and take a big demotion and work with like guys who've been there for like 30 years that don't even know how to like saute something. And I'm like, oh, that's so frustrating. But I have a 6-month probation. Once it's up, I can apply for, promotion. And that next day of my probation, I got the job and I got promoted to supervisor. I was like, I'm not doing this shit no more. I can't. And so the pandemic was like a gift and a curse. It was like, damn it, there goes my whole future, my safe life that I wanted. Kind of like when I was in my previous marriage. It was like safe. It wasn't crazy. It wasn't anything. It was just, I could have just gone by and just accepted it.
It was comfortable.
It was comfortable.
Yeah.
And that job was comfortable. But the pandemic shook things up. It was like, no, Glenn, this ain't for you, dude. You're not happy. You don't belong here. They don't deserve you. And I was like, tell Esther, what the fuck do I do? And she's in real estate. And that year, because of the pandemic, the market was hot. It was crazy. She made a killing that year. So I was able to like not have to work for like the whole year and a half almost.
That's cool.
And I was like, you know what? I got laid off. I could file for unemployment. I've never done it before. I never thought I'd be one of those guys. There's nothing wrong about it.
Mm-hmm.
But I fell into that bracket, and I was like, wait, I'm not married at the time. I have baby mama. I'm unemployed, collecting unemployment checks. And I'm like, my life took a whole like 180, not 360, but it was like a 180. It was kind of like, whoa, let's shift the taxes a little bit. And everything you thought you were going to do in your life, let's just do the exact opposite and see how you can handle it. And it was a lot. And so I started thinking, okay, what can I do? So I had the time to cook, experimented here with recipes and stuff here. Then we moved to our house here, the new house we're at now. The kitchen, it's open. It's got a huge island in the middle. It's got a big stove and so much counter space. And it's just open. And it's like huge. And I'm like, I just started seeing it. I was like, cool, I can do it now. I can do it. Started testing it out with the same friends and family that were doing it before. They're like, oh my God, the food's so much better. I'm like, I know, because I have better equipment and I can do more now, you know? And so then it just hit. I was like, yeah, this is what I want to do. I want to do catering. Then I was like, hold on. I have to buy all this equipment. I got to figure, I don't know how to charge for this stuff. I don't know what I want to do. So there's a lot of like trial by ear and a lot of just like on the fly, like learning as I go.
Yeah.
And then Sarah, my stepdaughter, who had her quince/sweet 16, and we were like, let's have Glenn cater it. And I was like, oh yeah, sure. We got a big house. We just moved into it. Like, got a big kitchen. Try your catering. And I was like, okay. So I asked her what she wanted, and we did the food, and I got chafing dishes, and we got all the stuff lined up for it. And we had about 100 people at our house. And
Damn.
our kitchen, I don't know if there's any pictures or video of it, but you couldn't walk through the kitchen or the living room. It was just like, I had people passing plates to people. It was all seated too outside. We got a tent we rented. It was a whole thing. So we were passing food at the tables. I had people running food for me, helping me plate dishes. It was a whole thing. It was crazy. And it was like,
so you didn't do like buffet style catering?
No,
you
no.
did, let me serve you on a plate?
We started to do it that. We're like, this is going to be crazy. But I had to have the food somewhere for us to serve it from, because I couldn't just have it in pots and pans.
Right.
Because the kitchen still is limited, to the space we have to heat stuff up. And there's only one oven. Convection, I was like, oh my, convection, yes. So it was intense. So I realized I could do this. I can do catering. Okay. We can do a lot out of this kitchen. Let's make it happen. And then so I started looking into like, what do I need to do legally? I need to get an LLC, get insurance, get health inspector out here. Let's get a business plan. Let's get all this stuff going. So I started doing all that. Now I'm like legit. Now I'm like, okay, this is happening. So it started out in my mom's kitchen, kind of like working in like, the basement in a sense.
Yeah.
To like moving up to like the top floor, and like we're still not there. We're still getting started. And it's just, I'm thankful to all my friends and family and new people I've met along the way, not just you, but like other people I never even would have met just because they found my profile on some sponsored ad I posted. Yeah. And they've been clients consistently every week now. And I've met some interesting people, amazing people, and they love the food. And I'm like, this is a thing. Like, this is good, because I know there's a huge need for this. And my passion was that I'm not from the Antelope Valley, but I've grown quite fond of it, which is weird. A lot of people wouldn't say that aren't from here. But I come from the big city, and like I've lived out there my whole life, and I miss that part of it, but it's very saturated out there. And I know I could do well out there, but I know that Antelope Valley needs something like this. There's already a couple places out here that do it, which is good. I'm not trying to compete or take away from them at all.
Right.
I just think we need more of this, And if I can educate people to learn how to cook more, or that want to do this, or that want to start their own business. I got a friend who I taught how to cook to, or like be a sous chef at one of my restaurants, at Hungry Cat. She went on to go do her own thing. Now she's got her own catering business and her own meal prep business. And like, I'm starting to see a lot of the dishes that I do, she's doing them. And I'm like, yeah, I love cool. that. Like a part of me wants to be like, she's stealing my ideas. And I'm like, no, this is what I want.
Yeah.
I want more of this. I'm not about this. I'm not trying to be the only one that does this because I know there's a huge need for this. And as long as they're doing it right and the food's good, I'm going to support them and be all about it all day. And I love it. And so Antelope Valley just needs more of it, you know. That's why I primarily service out here, but I've driven to Irvine, Long Beach. I have clients way out there. I'll deliver out there if I have to. If they're going to order consistently and more than just 5 meals, I'll drive out there, you know, because I know it's hard to find a good meal prep service that's good quality food and has variety. So, I know what I offer and I know what I do. So I take pride in it because it's also, I'm the cook. I'm the caterer. I'm the delivery guy. I'm the guy who places the orders, takes the orders. I create the menu. I collect the payment. I'm the guy you deal with and talk to. There's only me. So I'm loving it. And I'm just looking to grow the business this year. I got a lot of plans coming up. I'm not going to discuss, but I'm excited. And it's just, like I said, it all happened because I took a chance, you know?
Yeah. So 2 things I want to say about that is, one, like, your services are definitely needed. For me personally, like I said in the beginning, I'm buying time because I don't have a lot of time with my family. And now I'm doing something else that's really, really big and is going to take a little bit more time away on weekends. But it's for a bigger thing I'll tell you about off the record.
Yeah, that's good. I'm all about that. I love that.
So for me, it's buying time. I know for other people, it's buying the nutrition. So
Yes.
I feel like it's a double bonus for me. I'm buying nutritional, really, really good, what's the word? Nutritionally dense food.
Yeah.
But also the time. And then the second thing is, like, I feel like when you lived next door, we had our chats and stuff, but I feel like I didn't really get to know you until after you said fuck you guys and moved away. And I started buying your food. Based on everything you just said, like, you've got a forever customer.
Awesome. Thank you. There's a reason why, like, things happen the way they do. And when we were living here, I know there was a lot that we were trying to discover and figure out for ourselves with, like, being new together and the families and the location we were at, having the 2 dogs, the puppies, they're growing. And it was just, there was a lot, the work situation and what I'm going to do and how busy she was. There was a lot going on. And I feel like it's because we knew you were there. I think it's because we knew you were next door. We saw you. We always thought there'd be time, but we weren't planning on moving for a while. And also with the landlord that we had too, we were kind of rushed to move out of there because of him wanting to sell and all that. So, but there's a reason why it works out the way it does. Because if we were here, I probably wouldn't be doing meals here. You know, it would have been a different kind of connection or friendship. It'd have been like just a neighbor kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, where now it's a little more personal. Now it's a little more like family-esque.
Yeah.
If that's even a word.
Yeah.
But
I know what you mean though. Like when you guys were here, I was in one of the worst depressions because, and I don't know if you ever sensed that from me, but I know that I came off like I don't even know how to explain it.
No, because I was always the one that was out and saw, and I was always around the house.
Yeah.
I noticed, knowing you now and knowing you then.
Yeah.
I know you a lot better I do now than I did then, but there was like a barrier around you that, like, you were being friendly because you had to be neighborly, but you were kind of reserved and like protecting yourself from being too friendly, or like there was something there.
There
like
was
something. I know
people were dying left and right.
You had mentioned,
like,
and I know you were dealing with your dad being here and then caring for him, and it was a lot.
Yeah.
And I know
I'm still coming out of it. So like just talking about it.
That's awesome.
Chokes me up, but I was just in such a different mental state when you guys lived there, and part of me wants to feel guilty for it, and then the other part of me is like, dude, you had a lot of shit going on. Like Megan's mom died, and then Megan died, and then 2 weeks later, your dog died, and then a few weeks after that, somebody at work didn't show up. He was dead in his apartment.
Oh my gosh.
And then a few months later, your grandma died, who you never had a relationship with. Like, it just went on and on, and story and story, and I'm just like,
it's like, when does it stop?
I was in this.
You were like just waiting for something else to happen, and you didn't want to like have to face reality or deal with anybody, you know?
Yeah. So
I get it. Like I was saying, there's a reason why that period happened for us.
Yeah.
Like, we just needed to know we were there. Like, you're hey neighbor, you're cool. You're not some weird neighbor, and neither are you. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and like, cool. Like, my dogs would be annoying as fuck, and
your dogs were never annoying. I loved those dogs.
They would dig, they'd bark, they'd look through, scratch the wall, and it was they weren't bad, but they were just puppies growing up.
I used to stick my finger through your fence, pet their nose.
That's the worst. That's like not the worst that people stuck between the fences. No, I'm kidding. Don't think like that. No. I'm just saying, because we live in the corner, right? We lived in the corner. We got all these kids from the neighborhood. I don't want to be descriptive, but like these bad kids, and they would throw like chicken bones and like just bad things over the fence, and they would stick sticks in the fence and try to poke my dogs, and I'm like, they'd tear off the fence so my dogs could get out and get loose. And I'm like, okay.
I wondered why they always got out.
Yeah, and like I thought it was them jumping on them, but I had nailed them shut on both sides. So I'm like, and I was testing them, like, can you push them? No, you can't push them. You had to actually from the top and rip them out. And I'm like, okay, it's not cool.
Yeah.
And so it was just like a whole thing, and like we weren't meant to be there for very long, but we were meant to have met
jerks.
You. I know. No, I'm kidding. I know we are jerks, yeah. But no, like, and now we're in the new place, like, I feel like it's kind of the same thing there. We're in this cool little neighborhood. It's really quiet, but we got one neighbor to the left, and then the whole desert, and then we got one neighbor to our right, and they're cool. It's like an older Indian family, and they don't talk much. They don't really out, but we don't.
But they're not cool like me,
right?
And Desmond.
No, not and even half.
The quiet one in there.
Yeah, no, he's cool too. Even quiet. Yeah, no, shoot. But you know what I mean. So it's like that's kind of how we are. We've never been the type that's like out there, but. You know, I'm glad that it is the way it is now. It's kind of better this way, I think, in a sense. It's kind of weird, if it makes sense. And then to answer about the first part of your thing, for a lot of my clients, it's the time aspect, and also I find a lot of it to be spouses not wanting to cook for their other spouses. And having meals for them to save them time to make their meals. Because I have a couple clients that are very like dietary restricted and they can't have certain things, but they don't want to also cook a different meal for their spouse or their husband or their wife. They're like, I got to make my food, then I got to make his food differently because he won't eat my food, you know? But they're like, I can just order meals for him from you.
Yeah.
And I can do my cooking. And they love it. Or I have people that are just like, I don't like to cook or clean or buy or know what to buy.
That's my mom.
Yes.
But she's a really good cook. She just doesn't want to cook.
Right, exactly. That's it. And I'm cool with that too. I'll make the mess for you. Yeah. I don't care. I'll decide how much to get and what to get and how to put the dishes together and what works well together, you know? Like I'll go pick out the produce and know what's good. And the thing about me is, and everyone tells me is like, at first they're like, wow, your prices are high. And I'm like,
they're really not.
They're really not if you look around. Well, Hello Fresh, whatever company, I can get 15 meals for $1.45 each. And I'm like, really? You got to sign up for like a whole month in advance though. And then you got to pay like $800 up front. And they give you like a $400 rebate. Or it's like a whole thing. And I'm like, that's a big commitment. And their food's not really that great. And there's not very much option. And it doesn't really taste like anything.
Yeah.
And it gets shipped to you. And then how fresh is it? And all that stuff, right?
And then on the other side of that, when you go grow, like Sean and I easily spend $400 at Costco.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then what did we just buy? I have no idea.
Or how do I cook it? What do I do to it? What do I do with it? Yeah. Or something goes bad and rots in the fridge. You know, I get it. So that's my thing is so my prices aren't what they should be because lately I've been buying more organic. And I've got a couple clients that are all about organic and starting to really, they're advising me to kind of really go that way, go that route. And I'm like, you know, you're right. I've always wanted to. And let's shop more at the farmers markets and really know what I'm buying and really inspect the produce, make sure it's pesticide free and it's not or inhumanely pasture or raised or whatever, the proteins. Sustainable, because that's why I grew up with the restaurants I worked at, all sustainable, farm to table, organic, farmers market, fresh. So I know how to pick that out. Whereas if you go to a grocery store, if it says organic, is it really organic? You don't really know if it is or not. You don't know how to tell if it is or not. Is it injected with like steroids and it bulked up, whatever? And it's like, this chicken breast looks pretty big. It's only $4 for a 5-pack. And it's like, yeah, but it's injected with all kinds of water and hormones and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
do you really want to be buying that chicken? Like, do you know where it's coming from? Is it, cage free? Is it all this? It's more expensive, but so I'm finding myself lately that I'm spending more on what I'm buying. And it's not so much about making a huge profit right now, which it should be, but it's more about testing the menu out and seeing which avenue I want to go. If I really want to go full on organic or anything, which I do eventually want to do. But I just got to figure out the price point and what I'm going to be charging people, because I know the food's good and I know it's what people need. And I don't think there's a lot of companies out there doing the whole organic and farm to table, sustainable, So I could be one of the first ones doing that. But if I do that, there's going to be a price for it. So
I'll pay more.
Well, that's the thing is the people that have been ordering, like, I don't want to do that to them. And people are like, I don't care. I'm going to support your business. I'm like, I know, I get it. I appreciate that. But going forward, I want to start introducing that and using that as a selling point. Like, this is why it's this much, because of this.
Yeah.
And then you know what you're getting when you get into it. And it's not for everybody. And I know people are like, I need this prep. I need the meal prep, but I don't want to pay that much money for it. There's other ones out there. I'm sorry. Like, I want to say yes, I'll do it for you. But I got to start saying no, because I'm getting really busy and it's just me. And I'm starting to look at like hiring people, and I got people that help me do deliveries here and there. But because I have my LLC and I have my insurance now, I got to figure out a payroll thing. It's a whole thing about starting a business. Like, I got to be legit. I got to start hiring people. I got to have employees. And I'm like, dang, it's all new to me. So it's kind of exciting. Like, I'm telling you, I'm really at the start of it all. I'm just barely beginning. So
you're just a little baby.
I'm just a baby, yeah. And I have big plans and aspirations, yeah. So there's a lot that's going to be happening in the next year or so, but it's all about the food right now. That's all it is. I'm just working about the food. That's why I'm starting to repeat menus now to see what works. Once I have about probably 40 to 60 dishes that I know work, that are popular and that work together, then I'm going to have like a rotating menu every 4 weeks or a cycle or something.
Bro, carne asada bowls every week.
Yeah. I know. Everyone loves that. Everyone loves that. It's the bowls.
So good. I think that was the very first one I tried too.
Oh yeah.
And I was just like,
oh my gosh. Yeah, I know.
So good.
That's my wife's favorite one too. And I got a friend who orders every once in a while. When he sees the menu, he's like, anything with shrimp, he's good. But when he sees that asada bowl, he's like, I want 4 of those. I was like, damn, bro, okay. I was like, you can freeze them. You can order more. You can freeze them.
That's another thing, is that last week both me and my mother realized that we can freeze them. Well, because you told us.
Yeah.
And she was like, because I think I told her, you told me, and then I told her. And she was like, really?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, you can freeze them.
I've been trying to get away from that because I don't advocate frozen food. I don't like cooking frozen foods
Right.
But I'm like, you know what? It's the reality. It's like, it's prepared fresh.
Yeah.
A lot of the fish you get, if you buy fish from the market or something, it's previously frozen. Yeah. So I'm like, I gotta be careful with that too. So I try not to get that. I try to get fresh. That way you can refreeze things, because it's been previously frozen, then you're refreezing it, and it's like, but it's been cooked. Yeah. So there's a whole different aspect to it now. Yeah. But so I just, that's something I think about that most people probably don't even worry or think about, So it's like, but there are going to be some weeks where I'm not cooking, like Father's Day or certain holidays or whatever's going on. So I want people to know that you can order the meals ahead of time and freeze them for the week that I won't be cooking or something. So like, for example, Father's Day is coming up in about 3 weeks. I got the next 2 weeks menus done. I'm going to post those soon. And then people can order extra meals next week and the week after to cover. And people are like, that's a good idea. I'm like, I guess. So I've been testing the meals because I make extra for myself and my wife. I freeze a couple, and I'm like, let's see how it reheats. And I test it. I'm like, oh, it actually works really good. It's the same thing.
You pop it in the microwave for how long?
So I do it like in the defrost setting. hit defrost, and then about 3 minutes at like 30%, it'll just tell you. Just hit defrost, and then do it by time, and do 3 minutes.
3 minutes on defrost.
3 minutes on defrost.
Okay.
Depending on your microwave, if it's like a lower wattage, do 4 minutes.
Okay, that's good to know.
And then once it's defrosted, it'll still be somewhat kind of frozen in the middle. Just stir it up a little bit, bring the outside to the middle to the outside, and another minute and a half, maybe 2, depends on how hot you like your stuff.
Okay.
Or if it's like fish, do 2 minutes, just make sure it's heated through. Because I cook my fish like medium, so it's not like super dry when you reheat it. Like I said, just things I think about as a chef.
Yeah, I got 4 in there from last week.
Nice.
Good.
Yeah,
one night, because I make my high class, professional grade cooking videos.
I love them. Those edits are, oh my gosh.
Yeah, this week, since when this is posted, it will already be posted. I'm making a Southwest Asian chicken salad.
Ooh. You have the wontons in them too?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
And this Southwest, I'll show you before we leave. It's like this Southwest salad topper thing, which you can also eat right out of the bag.
That's dangerous.
I know, but I made that once at work. Like I was in a hurry and I just mixed that and I threw in wontons and then I'll show you everything. Yeah. Okay. So I'm hungry.
You're just like, oh, I'm not drilling, you're drilling. Damn, my 3rd shirt today. Damn it.
So, wow, that's a
long one, huh?
It's a good one. It's going to be good. I do have one more question for you, though.
Okay, please, yes. Anything.
At the end of every episode, I ask everyone the same question, and that is, if you had one piece of advice that you could give to the world, what would it be?
Now, this may not relate to everybody in the whole world, because that's a lot of people. Based on what we've pretty much said today, I mean, this kind of relates to what I've already talked about. And because something's hard doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. I would advise people to not just always settle for the easy way out of things or the short road, because that's how I did things before I started cooking. And it just always led me down the same path of just like disappointment and just not being satisfied with the results. Just being safe, and I hated that. And once I learned to just put in the work and do things the long way and the hard way, like start from scratch cooking, do things the long way, you get better results and you have less attempts at it. Whereas if you take the short way, you may make mistakes and have to do it all over again several times. So I learned that just because it's hard doesn't mean it's not something you should be doing. So take that risk, take that chance, do the research, take your time, and do it the right way that you believe is right. And I always tell people, like, there's never a wrong way to do things. There's just a lot of different ways to do things. It's on how your perspective is and it's the effort and time and energy you want to put into it is the result you'll get from it. So don't always settle for the easy, short way. And my old chef, David Lentz, would say, don't be a hack. Like, that's what he always says, don't be a hack. Like, do the work. Like, put in the work, do it the right way. And the right way isn't always the hard way, because sometimes it's all about work smarter, not harder. I get that.
Yeah.
There's a need, there's a time and place for that. But usually when you put in the effort and the time and the energy to it, like, the outcome is usually pretty awesome. And that's what I do now. And like, my wife is like very like diligent. She's like, go, like done, quick. Don't even think, just give an answer, give a reaction. Don't even think about it. Just do it. Just do it. And I'm like, hold on, I gotta plan it out. I gotta do this. So we usually end up having good results, but hers are a lot quicker. She can get a lot more done than I can. But for me, I can't operate that way. I take a lot more pride into what I do because of how long it takes me to do it. Like my meal prep, I could get it done in 8 hours, probably all my meals for all my customers if I really wanted to. But because of how I do it and the way I do it, it's like almost like a 2-day process. And I do need to sleep, eventually.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I got to figure that out too. And I have a family, and sometimes I have my daughter with me, so I got to factor that in too. So, I don't want to just take shortcuts just to get it done.
Yeah.
So that's, but some people are okay with that. I'm just saying, if I had to give advice to somebody in the whole world,
The whole world.
is don't be afraid to do the hard thing. I don't know, like I'm saying it. It sounded good when I was saying it, and now that I'm talking about it, it's like, is that good advice?
It is good advice. Yeah. You can't grow from the familiar. You just got to do the unfamiliar thing in order to grow.
Right. And like based on what we've talked about, just the two things, like the career choices and then the lifestyle marriage choices, like, and it happened because I did the hard thing.
Yeah.
I could have done the easy thing and said, no, I'm going to stay here. I'm going to do this. And no, that sounds like a lot of work to have to deal with baby mama. Or that sounds like a lot of work to have to start my own business out of my mom's kitchen. This stove's not working. I'm not going to do it. But I was persistent. I stuck with it. And beautiful things flourished because of it. So I think I just salvaged that.
There you go.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Glen Wiley signing off. Until next time.